Yeah, thank you. Well, good morning to everybody. Really thank you to be here. And Harry, thank you very much for your introduction and bringing me in this panel. I will be speaking for the Foundation of Intellectual Property Rights for Material Sustainability and Heritage, Challenges and Opportunities through Applied Research. The presentation is divided in six parts. One is overview and importance, context and practice, ethical and cultural aspects, case studies, connection to practical work, and future directions and discussion. First, I would like to say that this presentation explores how intellectual property rights intersect with material sustainability and cultural heritage, focusing on the opportunities and challenges that arise through applied research in the university context. It approaches IPR as part of the broader research process, from knowledge production and innovation to disclosure, protection, ethical reflection, and practical application. The presentation has a set structure in six parts. First, an overview. Second, the research and academic concepts, which protection become relevant, because as we know, universities are mainly focused on publishing, so there is quite an issue there. Third, the cultural and ethical dimensions of heritage-related innovation. Again, cultural heritage in all its form, either tangible or intangible, is quite fragile for overexposure in a sense, for over-tourism. So there should be a lot of issues regarding how to approach it. For some national case studies that will see the I have two that I find quite interesting in how there is a policy regarding that. Fix the connection to practical work and six future direction and points for discussion. Now, well, why IPR matters in material sustainability and heritage. Cultural heritage increasingly produces technical, digital, and design-based innovation. It works in a lot of fields. It's interdisciplinary. It cannot be done by one specialty, let's say, expertise. The most usual thing is to have teams from archaeologists, computer engineers, uh, environmental engineers, and architects, and a lot chemists, and chemical engineers, and there are a lot of people that have to do with the history, the documentation, the design, the consistency, the materials, and all these things creates a pretty big intercorrelated framework that researchers must address and find a way through the, let's say, IPR kind of labyrinth, because all this innovation that comes forward is produced in little steps from different disciplines, and this should be identified. It is a connection between conservation, architecture, material science, and digital tools. And each one of them has totally different processes, because intellectual property is something that it does not comes only in the form of patents, but also on timestamps and other types of property rights that different aspects. Design cannot be patented, services cannot be patented. In material science, we can have specific patents, especially if we have specific materials developed. And in digital tools, again, hardware is patented, software is not. Again, this usually includes many more aspects. Another thing that I find very important is that cultural heritage is connected with cultural identity. This means that it has a very, very specific kind of effect in the population and what it means to be patented. At some point, somebody will say that this part is mine. Uh, and since it is very linked on how we preserve and communicate the sense of place and identity, there are a lot of issues on how you can make this message clear, how you can preserve this kind of symbolic aspect, especially in the context of contemporary information noise, meaning that today we have so much information about everything. We have, a stream of visual, audio, and other types of content as technology develops. And we need to have the ability to act with certain responsibility and sensibility on that. Materiality, since this is also the focus of this presentation and topic, is that actually materiality is a crucial factor to address that because it creates a tangible relations. It creates a path from the past to the future for a lot of things that we can touch, we can smell, we can feel, we can see. These are things that actually are very, very potent in delivering this message and understanding this kind of continuum in time that this is what we want to preserve anyway. Now, the sustainable material research is not only scientific knowledge, but also a source of different methods, prototypes, and transferable solutions. Sustainability challenges generate new formulation, repair techniques, monitoring system, and circular material strategies. It's something that we have to do holistically from preserving techniques, from understanding the load that this kind of pristine, let's say, or at least as much as we can, environments can be affected by the value is created because cultural heritage sites are considered to have value. That's why we discuss about material sustainability in any case. This means that a lot of people come to see them, and there is this tendency from globalization to create um, replicas of them and in a way distort these with the cultural appropriation trend also to start losing this kind of potential and this kind of meaning to people. Another thing is, I think it's quite important. It's how all these are put in context. So IPR helps define how innovation is protected, disclosed, certain, and applied. And it can do it specifically through other value chains, meaning that it has a nocialist aspect, it has a communication aspect in the meaning of symbolism. It has a relation with what we call blue economy and blue effects, also with green economy and biodiversity and identity of a place. So all these value chains come to be connected there, and IPR can be a factor to identify better this kind of connections. Because again, when we talk about innovation, we talk about the creation of new values. It's a creative process. So IPR tries to get this value and identify it and connect it with other types of let's say, markets or valorization in general, and it can identify specific aspects. One important thing here is from one heritage innovation, especially material innovation, you can have multiple kind of IPRs. As I said, different research outputs correspond to different forms of IPR. A sustainable mortar formulation, a treatment method, or environmental monitoring system may be a patent-related output, or is connection of IPRs. Patents may relate to material processing devices or technical systems. Copyright may apply to software drawings, documentation, database, and digital reconstructions, as we said earlier. So it means that there is a totally different framework of how this kind of property rights are divided. And things that are in a way easily to change, like design manuals, digital models, parametric scripts, or visualizations, may raise copyright questions, but these things are very easily to be produced by others, and it's very difficult to set a good property right. On the other hand, a good practice, even if it's not patented, it doesn't mean that there is no value or there is not the ability of a spin-off or in general a new company to begin. It is quite usual actually for people that have developed a good process to be able to create a new company that actually has been established through the academic research and without going to patents to have this kind of going to the market. Oops, sorry. Then we have place-based heritage products that may connect to branding or geographical indication logic. Trademarks, GI, may relate to identity, provenance, inheritance, linked value, like food or like champagne and, other things like that. Know-how and trade secrets may be relevant where tacit methods or unpublished technical expertise are important. Some research outputs are best shared openly. Others may justify protection first and publication later. This is an important aspect. We'll discuss it also later because many times, even as marketing strategy, you want some outputs shared and then have some specific things that are very crucial to the whole process kept secret. The key issue is to identify the nature of the output before deciding how to manage it. Architecture and design departments often generate hybrid outputs that combine technical, visual, and methodological elements. And I say that through my aspect because beyond the vice rector, mainly I'm an architect, so cultural heritage for us is quite specific in this kind of synthesis of a lot of disciplines being involved and different kind of outputs. Okay, let's go to the second, that it's context and practice. Here we have this kind of travel from research to practical innovation. All academics, especially the ones that have been heavily involved with research, they understand that at some point you will have an output. These outputs being interesting in any case and the product of a lot of work, they are not all valuable. They are not all valuable in the sense that they must go through a protectable, a protected status, because there may be some things that you cannot even, patent. Uh, One thing that I remember that it the first time I heard like that, it was regarding Buckminster Fuller's uh, uh, spheres, uh, the polyhedrons that she made. Now I missed the exact phrase. I'm sorry. The geodesic domes. Because they said that you cannot patent geometry because this was a basic uh, shape. So there are things that, in a way, they are based in even, especially inheritance, in some kind of tradition that actually belongs to the community, and this is something that we'll see also later. And so it is considered a wide knowledge that it's quite dispersed. Patent-related protection usually depends on novelty, inventive stuff, and industrial applicability. And I will stay at the last one. This means that when something is created, it will go in a whole production process that in a way is scalable. Even if it is a service, it means that it can be applied even through training as a package. And in this sense, this is something that it's been exploited. As I said, novelties, the output must not already be publicly known. Inventive steps, the solution must not be obvious to someone skilled in the field. Okay, the output must be capable of practical use. Well, the same result may be scientifically important, but not legally patentable. A scientific discovery observation is the same as a patentable invention. And here I saw that, geometric patterns, as the pattern I said before with geodesic dome of Buckminster Fuller, we have things from history that we may find connections. Actually, we may find a very important connection between geometry and geology, between geometry and social aspects or anthropological aspects of a specific culture. Things that actually have symbolism and help to communicate. But these things, even if they are quite important, they can lead to an invention, meaning that you can make a new system of communication, let's say, that you could use in logo systems or something like that. But as a research output, that it's very interesting scientific, it doesn't mean that it will be a product. Uh, so the central question is whether the output constitutes a technical solution, not only a good idea or useful finding. In sustainability and shared research, innovation often lies in materials, methods, systems, or applied processes. And here I see the paradigm of Wang Shu. Wang Shu designed the Ningbo History Museum in China, and he wanted to make the new kind of structure to remind the old and traditional methods. So he took information of how the local architecture was built and the materials they used, and he designed this kind of golden pattern. So he used traditional materials to create a totally new sense of not only of the tangibility of it, but how it's a palimpsest of all these materials in different configuration and how this it creates. So this kind that it can create any type of material because each of these can be made as a new kind of brick, and each one has the ability to create that. This can be a kind of an IP, and especially if it includes specific processes of treatment, specific materials that it's made of, so it's environmentally friendly, it doesn't use a lot of energy, the life cycle is local. So these things create value, and it can go to another step. But as a single application, it cannot. No, now the importance of the academic practice and the timing problem, it is the academics usually are very eager and very fast to publish, but many times when you publish, then it is disclosed, so it makes the patenting process very, very difficult or impossible. Universities encourage publication, visibility, knowledge dissemination, and the thing is that academics usually are evaluated through it, so they are really, as I say, eager to do it because usually patent procedures are very time consuming. So since IPR requires timing, confidentiality, and prior assessment, many times, even while they are in the process, many academics usually uh, publish. Now, early disclosure may reduce or eliminate protection opportunities. In architecture and design, outputs are often presented publicly through reviews, exhibition, prototypes, and collaborative projects, especially in architecture, make it quite difficult. But here is, as I said, that, and we'll see later also, that you must decide that you must decide which parts are open, as we said earlier, and which are closed. So this is it's a decision that should be made at the start. Now, heritage innovation is not a neutral innovation field. This means that it doesn't go as other aspects that are very eager and techno-friendly. Cultural heritage carries historical, symbolic, social, and collective value. Heritage assets are often perceived as belonging not only to institutions, but also to communities and the public. In heritage context, legal ownership does not always resolve questions of stewardship and responsibility. A technical innovative method may still raise concerns if it restricts access to culturally significant knowledge or practice. The IPR may protect innovation, but heritage-related knowledge often has a strong public interest dimension. So the universities has a dual role, producing innovation and serving a public mission. Cultural heritage awareness is something very important in how cultural heritage is being managed. It should be in a national level, not only through policy, but also through education. It's something that people must be very aware, because the people actually that have the first say in protecting and management, that actually gaining from this value is local communities. Since, as easily understood, cultural heritage is the production of historical processes, and all this happened from the people living in this place, making all the sacrifices and hard work for the evolution of that place. So, in general, this is a very important part that must be developed from even the younger ages, and must be retained in the society. Now, the core issue is not only can something be protected, but also should it be protected and how. I mean, it's not everything that has the same value. But on the other hand, we must understand what it creates a composition, what it means for something to be as a whole. So we can identify, let's say, cultural signifiers in specific sites that could help address, or this type of mapping can also help us create new innovation by creating things on how to view it, meaning that there can be specific accessories for sitting, for viewing, for understanding a site, and even how this can be reproduced. So it is very important to have a very good contextual process of identifying the signifiers. And in this case, have the kind of best practice on in which place to invest, and what things can be emerged through this process to evolve the innovation. There is a major tension between dissemination and proprietary protection. Early openness may support scholarship and backlink benefit, but may also reduce protection opportunities, and excessive protection may appear as privatization of shared or cultural meaningful knowledge, meaning that you have social resistance. Some heritage-related knowledge may be linked to communities' traditional local practices. Traditional knowledge and community-based practices may not align well with systems based on individual inventorship. This here addresses can be addressed with participatory processes. Personally, I think that all these kind of research should be with the participation of the society. Not all valuable knowledge fits neatly into conventional IPR categories. Documentation, digitization, and reinterpretation can as well create new rights-related questions. Responsible innovation requires attention to recognition, consent, context, and benefit sharing. Architectural design departments working with local heritage, craft artists, or place-based knowledge need special sensitivity. And the practical question is how to protect research outputs without undermining cultural sensitivity or public legitimacy. The goal should be neither maximal privatization or naive openness, but a responsible management of knowledge, because, as I said before, these values should go back, a part of it at least, to the society. Now, as case studies, studying the countries that they have the most kind of pressure regarding their cultural heritage, meaning how much they actually have and how much they project. As we see, Greece is the country with the most cultural heritage, according to the Voronoi app, see here on the left. And on the right, we see the places where there are the most tourists visiting these sites. And we see that first is Italy, then Mexico, Peru, Turkey, Egypt, and Cambodia. The thing that is interesting here is that it's Italy, Mexico, Peru, Jordan, Turkey, Egypt, Cambodia, India, and China. We see that Italy is the second with cultural heritage, but is the first in visiting, and Greece is not somewhere in the first 10. I think that is quite important to say that this thing is something that Greece has to manage. Means there is a more potential, but being in a safe zone regarding touristic pressure, it means that it has the time and the ability to create much more sustainable practice. Like Norway, Norway is considered the leader in green heritage in a way that it actually has a system that provides value to the country and the society without actually affecting the monuments, and also have a good practice regarding the energy consumed for them. So Italy offers a strong example of heritage-rich environments, driving applied conservation research, holding the record for the most UNESCO hold heritage sites globally. Here we understand again that Greece now is making an effort to get the UNESCO stamp for a lot of heritage sites. Italy has been very active years now, so it has a very established name on it. And this again is something that is managed from the state. The Italian context highlights the close relationship between built heritage, material knowledge, and practice-based expertise. We have a lot of companies in Italy that um, uh, they exploit, let's say, all this um, the potential. And they have built an expertise that it's international expertise, so they actually take this value and they take it abroad. Um, exactly because they have this kind of balance of tangible and intangible. It's not only the monuments; it's a whole strategy, something that Greece has just started to do. And we have a lot of road ahead. Other countries that their heritage it's different and it's more contemporary. They need also to address this issue because there is interest in other type of sites as in this program that we have for old mining sites or industries. This is something that also should be addressed as a holistic approach. Italy Ondus illustrates how heritage works to connect conservation, training, and sustainable innovation. And this case is useful for showing how innovation may emerge through repair, restoration, and material adaptations. Italians are really focused on this, on materials, and many such materials come from it. Recognized as a primary hub for adopting innovative technology in heritage tourism, such as 3D digitization, advanced restoration techniques, it links technical knowledge with place-based cultural practice. Here there's a paper, The Climate Change and Sustaining Heritage Resources, a framework for boosting cultural and natural heritage conservation in central Italy, from Maddresa Silvani Dastgherdi and his team. And here we see that an area with a lot of layered heritage, meaning from antiquity until recent times, they really have and continually to develop. I mean, they only have quite potent policies, but they continue to develop better and better how the sites preserve their identity, uh, but also manages to have the impact and the image of clarity of, as I said, of the message of it. And this makes them the first spot for tourists. Now, national mitigation and here we see the diagram of the mitigation and adaptation plans and policies. And they identify the cultural landscape that are rural and agricultural land. So you see the land itself is considered, let's say, I don't like to use the phrase product, but in a way it's a setting that it's also it's connected with everything. Natural goods, so everything that it goes with the intangible heritage, especially in foods, and cultural goods, historical buildings, and world heritage sites. And then we have the vulnerability assessment to climate change. And then we have collaborative policymaking, multidisciplinary and multisectoral vision for protection and risk reduction at heritage sites, and enhancing climate adaptive capacity and cultural heritage. Here I want to say that, and of course the community engagement and local visions. Universities are very well positioned to address that because usually universities have the abilities to have these interdisciplinary teams, and especially with external, if they don't have, they have a network of people that they can bring. So they have the ability to see it in all the levels that is required, something that in Greece, as I said, is working right now. HI-EURECA-PRO is for me a very important program for the widening countries. That we are, in order to truly make the passage from an era when a lot of things were um, dissected, fragmented, working not together, and start understanding the issue of preservation in a context of protection and sustainability. Sorry, a notification came up. I don't know if you see it. The second I got to say, it's Peru. And Peru is interesting because we have a lot of other types of in the Mediterranean and in Europe, and a lot in a way is materially involved with materials uh, and industry. But the interesting thing that I put Peru as a good case study is that uh, it is used through a community based. It's the community has a strong role for it. In one aspect, um, it was obligatory, meaning that many of the Peru sites are really inaccessible, and the communities are the ones that have been taking care of them so since a lot of time. But they have a quite interesting aspect. We know that Machu Picchu was closed for a time, so they are very sensitive on that. And they have these kind of four aspects that are important. It's citizen guardianship, programs like Defenders of Cultural Heritage train hundreds of local groups, including students and civil society, to monitor and protect sites, effectively creating the national care network. For me, this is very important because we have bottom-up innovation. I mean, all these people, as they meet challenges and new things that happening, they are active enough to have, an incubator of a lot of solutions. Legal protection from traditional laws from 2002, a law recognizes the rights of indigenous peoples over their biological resources and traditional knowledge, preventing third parties from patenting inventions based on collective indigenous heritage without proper acknowledgement. Participatory management for major projects like the Kaparknan, Inca road system, the state promotes social appropriation where local communities perform traditional maintenance tasks like faenas and participate in decision-making process regarding the site's use. Then economic diversification become policies encourage moving beyond the extractive tourism towards community-based tourism. And as I say, it is a very good example from a kind of sustainability because bringing the people together that actually are affected, when we have the fragile cultural heritage party and we have the pressure from overexposure. This leads to degrade of the sites and degrading of value, but the value not only monetary, but also cultural value, what it means, the identity, as I said earlier. So they are the people that actually will lose more. So it is very important for me to be engaged. And I think this is a way to have much more with the universities involved in that. I think we can have much more the ability to produce new knowledge in a variety of aspects. And here are some aspects of the Peruvian site. And here we see a diagram that there is this from Jessica Vilches, Cairo, and all green infrastructure and the growth of ecotourism in the Ollantaytambo archaeological site, Urubamba province, Peru. And here we see that we have the water disorder tourism, water shortage that we have also in Crete, environmental pollution, loss of cultural identity, disordered urban development, and degradation of cultural heritage. I said exactly this is the things that if they are lost, the cost is mainly to these communities and their true heritage. Now, connection to practical work, we in architecture have a lot of applied study on that. In another set of these very interesting seminars, I will present case studies of our work. But right now, I would see mostly the framework of it because there are a lot of kind of aspects on that. Because even if we publish or present what we do through these processes, and for me, my involvement in the restoration and conservation of cultural heritage historical sites, there are new things that are developed and new practices, meaning that we can evolve the building information management system for heritage that it's totally different than the why BIM was created, and usually it works much better from scratch because there are a lot of issues to see to identify exact types of wear and static problems, and you need structural problems, and you need to find specific solutions, and then you have to organize them. And you may create a new tool because the existing tools actually do not support what you want actually to achieve. So in this process, I wouldn't say create, but you develop something that it is not obvious, but this can be framed and create. But also there is the aspect of how people see it. So as I said before, and because we actually work a lot with participatory design, when you engage the community, this is very important, and what aspects should pay attention to and what kind of new intervention to go to. Many outputs are hybrid, so I saw that I'm a bit late, so I will move on. Many outputs are hybrid, combining technical, visual, methodological, and pedagogical dimensions. So, since and if we have a holistic type of view, then this means that we have to identify a lot of different kind of approaches. And the pedagogical approach, while it has meaning for students, it has a lot of meaning also for the community, but also for possible entrepreneurs that they would like to have to create a new entrepreneurial feat. Now, innovation outputs in architecture and design practice, inheritance and sustainability, these outputs may have both research value and transfer potential. And I saw some things that also Professor Chichos have visited lately. Sagrada Familia is a very good example of that, on how we created through research and contemporary means, actually created technologies, materiality, the process of materials, 3D printing in big scale, in order to actually finish one of the most emblematic cultural heritage sites of the world. And this is exactly because this is highly published, but still has a lot of things that are the intellectual property is protected, because beyond the things that are open, there are specific kind of techniques and material, consistency, how exactly we made that these were patentable. So we have to research to classify research outputs correctly. Means that whenever you start, and this is something that's very important, you have to design from the first what types will be open, and if you address something that it would be patented, we must exactly have the type. And here I saw a variety of different types of materials that are, materials from the earth and very organic that are used in traditional architecture. And you have to identify what type you redesign, and you create a new product for it, or you simply replicate something from the past. So you have to identify the output because you must have the aware workflow for this, document it, assess it, decide on disclosure connected to the application. The TTO office should be a bridge between the research and the product. And here, we have the research team that they have the research idea, the prototype, and the internal documentation. They must go through the TTO office to identify the IPR, make the IP screening, make market evaluation, and either be open access, so it goes for publication, or there is market value where you discuss with external partners and stakeholders for a certain IPR arrangement, and then it goes for service. Now, future direction from awareness to research is something that IPR in heritage standards should be treated as a research strategy issue, not a legal or administrative. This means that the researchers must be increase the capacity building in order to understand this kind of connection that they must have from the start. I emphasize that a lot of times because this is usually most researchers just stumble across something that they say, this would be interesting for IPR. But if it was not actually planned, it means that you may have a lot of problems of how to do it. Then architecture and research members are well placed to develop a new private-based innovation management. Again, I believe from personal experience that being exposed to something that is It has the combination of a lot of things, as other disciplines, of course. You have the ability to create this kind of implementation and evolution of product, and you must understand the whole cycle of it. Then the research strategy may focus on the connection of sustainability, design, research, heritage science, and TTO processes. Now, future direction is the creation of department level or faculty level protocols for identifying potential protectable outputs. This is something that I think is quite important for this program and of the three widening countries, the pilot cases. Development of training for researchers and students on disclosure, authorship, and innovation pathways. I think we have started this process, and this should go further. More research is needed on how architecture and design schools manage hybrid outputs that are neither purely technical nor purely artistic. Comparative work across institutions or countries could help reveal different models of heritage innovation governance. Balancing openness, stewardship, and protection is public interest research, and evolve into a distinct interdisciplinary area, linking heritage research with innovation standards and knowledge management. And at the end, some questions that I think it would be nice for people here to discuss or review in order to address the issue more. Thank you very much, and sorry I took more time than I should.